Hi and welcome to another edition of This Woman Can. I am your host Janice Sutherland, where it's my mission to educate and equip ambitious women to excel in their careers and become impactful leaders, creating more wins in their life. Now, in my recent interview with Rihanna Patterson, that was episode 131, we spoke about the importance of speaking up, of being unafraid to use your voice, especially as a young woman in leadership. Research has shown that people who speak up early and often are often seen as leaders, even when they're wrong. And you've probably seen this in action for yourself because you see other people speak up in meetings and you may be thinking to yourself, well, they're spouting a load of rubbish. But it's their ideas that get implemented. Or even worse, they articulate your ideas, and even if they credit you for it, they are still remembered and forever associated with that idea, not you, no matter how great it was. So speaking up in meetings is an essential skill to enable you to be seen as a leader, to get credit for your ideas and to progress your career. Extroverts have an advantage when it comes to speaking up in meetings, and I'm a little bit of an extrovert. And Rihanna said she was an introvert, but introverts can also make valuable contributions to meetings. It's just a matter of going about it in a more considered and thoughtful way. So the first thing to look at is what holds you back from contributing to meetings. Many introverts have the following thoughts. I'll speak up, but only when I have something useful to offer. Now, I can't advise you to speak up when you don't have something useful to say, but when you think about it, it's very likely that your standard of what's of value is higher than it needs to be. So my advice, if you're sitting there wondering, will this be useful or not? It probably is. So open up your mouth, get talking, start talking. Maybe you're thinking, I want to make sure that what I say makes sense. So I'll just think about it a bit more, just a little bit more before I speak up. Now let's be honest, by the time you've worked out what you wanted to say, the discussion will have moved on. And it may not be perfect, but it's more important that you heard now, so say what you need to say. It'll look like I'm dominating the meeting if I speak too much. Says who? If you're a person who generally doesn't speak up much, the likelihood of this being the case is vanishingly small, so incredibly small. Let this thought go. If you have difficulty with letting go of this thought, ask a colleague whose opinion you respect to let you know if they're speaking too much. You know they're going to say no. Then maybe you're thinking, there's never a silence for me to speak, and it's rude to interrupt. Now, I know we've probably been taught as a child that it's rude to interrupt or you should be seen, not heard. But if you're working in an organisation where other people are talking all the time, you're going to have to get over that conditioning or you will never get your voice heard. Absolutely. And whether you're new to the world of work, you're a young leader, or you've had years of experience, or you're a natural introvert, it's important to fight against your lack of confidence to talk in meetings. And you have to find ways to gain the courage to speak up and be bold. So let me share with you 7 tips for finding your voice in meetings. First of all, be prepared and speak first. Before the meeting, take time to prepare your thoughts. When the time comes to discuss the topic, be the first to speak. This gives you the opportunity to create the discussion instead of delaying your insights or hearing someone else offer the same ideas that you had. Secondly, practice your delivery. Part of making yourself heard is speaking smoothly. We've all been guilty of relying on space fillers like you know is one of my big ones. Qualifiers like these detract from the professional image we're trying to seek. So practice what you'll say out loud before attending your next meeting. Better yet, video record it or audio record it and find the areas you may want to improve when you review it. Thirdly, ask questions. This is one of the easiest ways to speak up in a meeting. It also shows your engagement and it shows that you're involved in the discussion. So ask questions that will spur the conversation or clarify an idea. Number 4, state it clearly. To further emphasize your point, consider starting your thoughts with phrases such as I strongly or suggest or I recommend. Number 5, believe in yourself. Your opinions and ideas count. They are no less valid than anyone else's at the table. Be fearless in owning your beliefs and don't allow self-doubt to cloud your convictions. Number 6, let go of perfection. If you're anything like me, you want all of your sentences to come out fully formed, but it's not going to happen. And for everything to say, you say with high value, it's not going to happen. Not in a meeting situation. So let go of this standard for your contribution. Lastly, number 7, don't censor yourself. Voice your real opinion. If you do that, you'll be seen as the valuable professional with expert opinions that you are. There are different ways you can add value to a meeting because we often assume that the only way to contribute to a meeting is by sharing our ideas or opinions. But there are many other ways you can add value. As I said, you can ask questions that spark further discussions and result in a better decision. For example, you can ask, what's a reasonable timeline? Or what are the consequences with the decision if we take this decision on something in particular? Summarize the discussion, so recap the points raised or the actions to be noted. Answer the questions or provide additional background information that will help make a better decision. Support someone else's point of view and giving your reasons for doing that. So, for example, somebody spoke up and you think they made a lot of sense, but the discussion may have gone off in another direction. So this is a time when you could actually step in and re-put the conversation back on the right track. Quite often it's someone who speaks a lot and more loudly, but bring it back to the agenda item and put it back on track. Identify the action items coming out of the discussion and ensure they're allocated to a particular person or group. One piece of advice I wouldn't recommend is taking the minutes. Particularly as a woman, there's a danger that you may be pigeonholed as being the minute taker for all meetings going forward. However, if your role is to take the minutes, don't assume that you have to stay silent. Use some of the actions I mentioned because they are all natural extensions of the minute taking role. The other meeting attendees will notice the contribution you're making. In a fast-changing work environment, businesses need everyone's best thinking to achieve the best outcome. So whether you're a young leader, an experienced leader, take ownership of your opinions and find the courage to assert your ideas. You'll be glad you did, and it won't go unnoticed by your managers and co-workers. So that's it. Seven ways you can speak up in meetings as a young leader. And don't forget you can sign up for any of my free leadership masterclasses and newsletters, aiding you to become the most fabulous leader you can be by visiting janicesutherland.com. And remember, if I can, you can, this woman can. Take care until next time.